did my homework. I'll stop.
Did you read chapters 1 through 9 of Silas Marner?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Okay, I read half through chapter 9.
We'll just watch the movie, it's okay.
Okay, I kept forgetting to mention this at your panel today. Not your panel, but your Q&A. I'm so tired!
You are a time traveler, because you don't know where you are right now. You're remembering the future.
I wanted to say I loved you as Solomon and Trinity Blood, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Ah, yes, Suleiman, who is the character that gets a hole blown through him and proceeds to talk for another 20 minutes. That would be me in real life. I'm dying! I'm dying! With a giant hole in my torso. I'm dying still. Like that would be me in real life. I won't be talking about precisely 9 hours after I'm officially dead. Like, his corpse won't shut up. His corpse!
Okay, I have a doctor question for you, actually.
You don't scare me. Bring it.
Who is your favorite doctor and why, and what was your favorite season and why?
What is with the favorites game? Everyone's like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite? I don't know. I love everything. It's hard to pick favorites because I feel like the pressure is on to be like, I love this. Everything else can go to hell but this. This right here is mine. Don't take this away from me. But you know, screw that. This. Only this. It's so artificial, I think. So I find it really hard. And I'm not like totally ripping on your question because I mean, of course, everyone's like, what's your favorite? It's just kind of built into our language, isn't it? What's your favorite this? What's your most experience? What's blah, 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 what's whatever. Doctor Who is so much a part of me that my favorite Doctor is all of them because it's all one character. I don't know if you've been watching the show. Okay, but it's all the same dude. He's just got a lot of personality. It's like Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. Do I contradict myself? Fine, I contradict myself. I contain multitudes. That was a very highfalutin reference for those of you who didn't get it. That's okay. Oh, one person got it. He's lying. But if I had to now, as far as being my favorite Doctor in terms of the one I went back to watch later of the old series, I love Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor because he was the first actor to be charged with the task of persuading an audience who'd grown up watching William Hartnell, Billy, the first Doctor, that the Doctor could be played by a different actor in a different way, with a different take, a different outfit, a different persona, and still be the Doctor. And if he hadn't succeeded as beautifully as he did, because there was so much pressure on him. Nowadays, a Doctor always has pressure on him to perform when he's in his first episode, because everyone's like, yeah, are you going to be as good as Matt Smith? Are you going to be as good as James Tennant? Are you going to be as good as that 9? Are you going to be as good as 7? Everyone's like, yeah. But you have to imagine, okay, before this was even a concept in anything, the idea of another actor taking up the mantle of a role that completely and utterly, as far as its fan base was concerned, belonged to this guy, Billy Hartnell. Patrick Troughton came in and was like, I'm going to do it my own way. And he had the balls to do it. And so they came up with this idea, well, like, we can do it. He's an alien, so we'll have kind of a different personality, but he's basically the same core creature at bottom, whatever that means. And so he convinced audiences who hated him at first because he was such a departure from William Hartnell's portrayal. William Hartnell was kind of frosty and patrician and like angry grandfather. Whereas Pat comes in and Pat's this wonderfully daft, clownish, cosmic hobo whose clothes don't fit and who's always being like, oh dear, run away! And everyone's like, he's like the crazy uncle that would show up to your birthday party and give you like a wildly inappropriate gift. So people were like, this is not the Doctor I know, but they so fell in love with him over the course of the 3 seasons that he had to part, that he made the idea of regeneration, the idea that other actors could come in and take up the mantle of this role, viable. And so if he, Pat Troughton, may he rest in peace, had not done such a wonderful job bringing a new Doctor to life for the first time, we wouldn't be talking about Doctor Who now 15 years later. And I'd like to add, it's tragic but actually kind of sweet at the same time, he was so in love with the fandom of Doctor Who that well until the end of his life, he was going to cons dressed as the Doctor. It was one of his favorite things to do. He actually passed away at a convention.
What? What?
True, in the late 80s, I believe, he was at a convention. And, you know, he was an old guy by then. And he passed away in his sleep, and they were like, oh, but he was like there at a convention to do Doctor Who stuff, because he loved it, and he loved the fans. And so he like, I mean, what a way to go, right? I want to die at a convention, not this one.
No, please, no.
Not today.
Not never.
Like, I actually got a meeting guy. I told that story about like being involved, like or loving Pat Troutman as like my favorite old doctor, and then told the story about dying at a convention. And then this was a couple of years ago, and a guy comes through my line who's a bit older, and he says, "You know what? I was at that convention. I was in his last autograph line." And I'm like, "I don't know why I'm signing this for you. Are you gonna kill me?" Because he was so honest. I was in Pat Troutman's line. It was you. It's the master. Run! So Pat Troutman will always have a special place in my heart, as I think he should with all Doctor Who fans, because he made Doctor Who, you know, he gave Doctor Who such a wonderful, he gave it longevity. He proved that it could be done, and he was brilliant.
And your favorite season?
My favorite season?
Yes. Mine was obviously with the Pawns, so.
That's good stuff. It's hard to pick favorites. I have favorites for all of them. I really loved the last season of Tom Baker's run. Because his take on the role had changed so dramatically then, and he had this beautiful plum outfit. I love Matt Smith's the astronaut, whatever what was the name of that arc? The Impossible Astronaut. Thank you. That was a great arc. I love the Bad Wolf arc.
Oh, that was really good.
That's a defining arc. I mean, the rest of the series try to sort of stand in the shadow of that beautiful construct. And the old stuff, I love Pat Troutman's very last run as the Doctor in a 12-episode arc called The Warriors. And he's like, that was his last thing. And that was actually the first time, this is like 67, 68, it was the very first time that we see Gallifrey and we see other Time Lords, because the Doctor is put on trial. And he has to like defend himself on trial. Like, why does he go around mucking about in the timeline? Because I'm this, da 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 da. And it's the very first great little monologue he gives in defense of himself on trial by the Time Lords. And that's another great like Patrick Troughton like moment. Because that's the thing, his third regeneration, or his second regeneration in the Third Doctor, was not something that happened because he died. He was actually forced to regenerate because he was exiled to Earth because the Time Lords were not happy with him. So he was like, they're like, nope, you're regenerating it. We're gonna exile you to Earth. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Such a nerd.
That's a good thing. Nerds are sexy.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, darling. You are sexy as well. Work them heels, love. Work them heels.